Jacko, who have we got on next? Who's the next guest? I'll fix all this back up. You're all right, Jacko.
No, yeah, you're right. It's in the other brand. I think we got Sean Butler, the very, very generous Sean Butler. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, for the fan shows, a first-time caller, unless I've been, absent for one. Looking forward to this, especially because he's had a lot of excellent takes over on, the pre-match pump up, and he's helped you out a lot over there. So big up, Sean Butler. And I'm actually happy to have you for this one, mate. And also welcome.
Hi guys, how are you?
How you doing, man?
I'm pissing myself about that advert that you just did.
You would like the other one more.
That's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I think it was fantastic. I need to hire you guys. For my agency. You make the very best commercials for sure.
Oh man, you want to see the one we want to see the one we had there. What was it last month? It was even funnier, a bit longer, but even funnier, my man. I mean, look, you have to try a bit of humor to it, though, don't you?
No, you have to. Yeah, you have to bring that humor, and you've done that with aplomb. So congratulations.
Well, if you ever need someone in your corner, Sean, we'll be happy to provide. Give you a nice promo, even just, for your own name, your own brand recognition. We'll give you your own little promo for it. But it is, the last one especially, I think you would have enjoyed more. It was a bit kind of more funny, I can't, even less serious.
I'm devastated I missed it. If you still have a copy of it, Dave, then make sure you send me a link on your WhatsApp or something, man, because that was it was brilliant. So anyway, yeah. How you guys doing?
All good, my man. We're absolutely flying. How are you keeping?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Yeah, always. I love your show. I love, Jack. I love your stats. Sessions. Yeah. Dave, you bring the energy. Well, both of you bring the energy. But first time caller, long term admirer, and you guys bring welcome therapy. I mentioned in that super chat. I genuinely mean it. Like COVID has ripped, 2 years and counting away from our lives generally, right? Yeah. And me personally, I'm very grateful for my lot in life. I'm happy, healthy generally, and I'm more fortunate than billions of people out there in the world. But you can't help but have perspective, and it's all relative. Like when you have something and then it's all taken away, you start to feel sorry for yourself. Maybe you have mental health stuff. And my point of that thing, even though I realize now I spelt rat incorrectly. I should have put a W, which I'm devastated about. But the truth is, right, that Tottenham is like a distraction for so many of us, right? Like for those 90 minutes on a Sunday, a Saturday, a Thursday, a Wednesday, whenever it is, that 90-minute is when we all can go, whatever's going on in our life, let's focus on something that's out of our control, but something we're passionate about. But what you guys have done, and what the team at We Are Tottenham TV have done, and a whole bunch of other channels, you've allowed us to expand that distraction, from the pre-game stuff to the post-game stuff to the midweek stuff. And to me personally, it's invaluable, because I feel like I've lost a lot over the last 2 years. And I'm sure other people have as well. And so, coming from me personally, but I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when I say, thank you, because you guys, what you do is brilliant, and it's really it means the world to me.
No, that's, do you know what, nice. Sean, just to expand on that, look, I really appreciate it. But what I will say is meeting the likes of you and everybody else and the way you've interacted with us, I mean, it's been absolutely life-changing for me too. You know what I mean? Meeting many people and the way I've been received. And I mean, it's been absolutely life-changing. So, I appreciate what you're saying. As much as we maybe have provided maybe a bit of entertainment during the lockdown or whatever it is we've provided, you guys have given us back tenfold. So, I really, really do appreciate it, Shawnee. Really do appreciate the kind words, my man. But look, where do you want to start this debate? Where do you want to start?
We got another philosopher, quickly, Sean. I feel like we got lots of comedians, lots of philosophers. I feel like you just joined the philosopher army right there, Sean. Very, very nice of you, and very well said, actually, summarizing the whole pandemic in so few words as well. Really well said, my man.
Oh, well, a few words is not something I've been known. I'm quite the
Neither are we.
verbose moron occasionally. So I'll take that. Cheers, Jack. I appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, no, listen, like I say, I really wanted to come on just to say thank you and to introduce myself, to you, Jack. I spoke to Dave a couple of times, and I love what you guys do. But in terms of talking about Tottenham, I thought yesterday was it was a weird game, right? I actually missed the first 20 minutes of the first half trying to get Peacock TV to figure itself out. It's a nightmare being in the UK, not having access. And actually, it feels like for the first time, I seem to remember like previous seasons where every Tottenham game in the UK always seemed to be televised. Yeah. But this season, it seems like there's a more often than not, we're not on telly in the UK, right? So you have to go and find other access points. And so I finally figured it out. But I missed Moura's goal. I missed the 6th minute clap and applause for that poor kid that was, celebrated. His life was celebrated or whatever. And but then when I finally tuned in, when I finally got hold of it, it looked like I saw a dominant performance, and I loved Skippy's efforts. I loved Moura's performance. I thought Ben Davies again. I'm not going to repeat what everyone else has said, but like it's fantastic to see this guy that we've always given a hard time to. Sometimes you're trying to put square pegs in round holes a lot of the time with players in team formations, and Ben Davies hasn't always necessarily found his spot. And if you asked everybody a year ago, he was a player that would probably be on the top of the list of people that we didn't need. But now
he's on the top of mind like 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago. Yeah. No, but it's not embarrassing. It's a reasonable assumption based on the way that he was utilized and how he played when he was used. But moving to a back three, it seems to have the change in formation seems to have allowed a lot of players to suddenly, spread their wings and show why they have always been at this level of the game with a team at our level, right? And but like I say, sorry, the last thing I'll say before I put it back is I saw a lot of the feedback, and everyone was like, Norwich were dominant and they didn't take chances. I didn't see that stuff. It must have happened early, because I thought that we were pretty dominant throughout the game, especially in the second half. Yeah. And there wasn't many things that I would have changed from what I saw.
Yeah, that's actually, so I guess you missed that one big chance then. Yeah, that Timo Pukki had. To be honest, I made the argument. That, we conceded, to Newcastle from a similar chance with Callum Wilson. He buried it instead of Timo Pukki burying it, but we still came back to win 3-1. So when you kind of consider it that sort of way, like, even if we maybe did concede to a Timo Pukki goal, we probably still maybe would have come out and maybe won that. Wouldn't have been as easy, but I feel like we still would have come out and won that because, like you said, a very dominant performance after 20 minutes. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'd say is when you start to factor in what might have been, then once there's another variable added, right? Is like if we did concede that goal, then from then on it's like a Back to the Future film, right? When the timelines change, you go back to 1985, and then the timeline changes. It's a whole nother timeline, so you can't necessarily make presumptions that it would have carried on the way it was going had the game panned out differently earlier. But I take your point. It looked like we were going to. I mean, Norwich are not that particularly impressive generally. So,
do you know what I think, my man? I think a lot of people based, saying Norwich were the dominant team just off the possession stats. But I mean, you look at most of their possession; it was just passing it along the back line from right wing back all the way across the left wing back. I mean, at most times when they went forward, we ended up just taking the ball off them. So, I mean, they could pass it around all they want across the back line and maybe into midfield because they had an extra body in there. But, I mean, they didn't even do anything with it. At the end of the day, we were in full control of that game. And, look, you could be in control of the game and not necessarily be in control of the ball. It is possible to be able to do that, I just thought, look, I get what people are saying when it comes to possession and stuff like that. But, I mean, I seen a game where Tottenham were just in cruise control, really. I mean, we didn't really get out of gear, to be honest with you. I mean, I just don't understand it. I think just because we're so used to giving out, I think some people just want to keep giving out. I'm not sure. But Shawnee, just 2 minutes. We have a couple of super chats. Truth Sets You Free says, do they have a razor for your face salad too? Have a razor for absolutely everything you need, my man. Do not worry about that. Truth Sets You Free.
And a bit of aftershave if you need it, and a bit of cologne, which we failed to mention as well. Like I said, everybody, it doesn't need to be for the down under; it can be for the up top as well.
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like you two guys being an advocate of razors is somewhat disingenuous. You know, and then me being, I'm wearing the flat cap as well. I took this out of the drawer just for you for Jack's benefit. But
appreciate you.
Yeah. Give us a look at that, baby. Give us a look at it. There's some nice colours on that flat cap. Show me again.
Oh yeah. I've got some Arsenal colours here. I'm not. I need to maybe go and put the tie dye on this shit. Get rid of the red. Yeah. Because it's a nightmare.
We'll have to sort out the red, and then we're absolutely cracking on. So we are. Ribsy85 says, "Is this ad going to have Dave shaving his nads?" No, never, my man, never. Believe me. You know what it is, Ribsy? I can't shave them because they're already smooth, thanks to Manscaped, my man. So I can't shave them. Big up, Ribsy. Big up, Ribsy. And Truth Sets You Free says, God bless Arthur. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's absolutely horrible what happened to that young lad. I mean, absolutely disgusting, my man. Big up, Truth Sets You Free. Big yourself up, my man.
Yeah, that guy, I don't know who the Truth Sets You Free is, but he's the most positive, like every message in the comments on any stream I'm on, he's just the nicest dude. He's so support or girl. I don't know who it is, but
no, it's a lad.
Super supporter. Yeah, is it a lad? Is it?
Yeah. No, he's an absolute legend. He's an absolute legend. But Brad,
I
mean, Harry Kane didn't score.
You're obsessed with Brad today, Dave. You're obsessed with Brad.
Oh man, my head's all over the shop.
Brad left that much of a mark on you. Brad left that much of a mark on you.
Yeah.
No. Do you know what it is, lad? I get so flustered when I'm in a rush before the stream, like I had to with the computer, and I just can't think straight then for another couple of hours. Sean, my man, sorry, brother.
Okay.
Harry Kane, look, he's got another game without scoring. Are you starting to be concerned now, or do you think, looking at it, he is getting into the scoring positions again, more in Norwich than what he did against Brentford? Or do you think maybe it's time to maybe look at another option?
We don't really have another option, do we? You know, that's the problem. Listen, I was at the Brentford game. I'm a season ticket holder. I didn't go to Norwich. I didn't go yesterday, but the Brentford game, I was my seat is right in front of the south stand. So, you know, him getting that through ball and having that shot where he didn't take it, you know, I've seen him in that same position, literally carbon copy position 50 previous times, and he knocks them away like it's nothing. And I thought against Brentford, like him missing that was just a sign of the frustration, the weight on his shoulders. I feel like, you know, he's a human being. He might be a superstar. He's a human being, and I feel like he's a Tottenham boy at heart, but he definitely feels, you know, the pressure, because a lot of the Tottenham fans that loved it, like everybody loved him a few seasons ago. Now there's some people that have changed their mind on him, and you know, the only thing that would make our current run of form better would be to see him bang in a brace or a hat trick. Maybe he can do something against Brighton, but even against Brighton, that's going to be away from home. I just feel like he needs that, you know, to absorb that energy, that love and that passion when everyone's going to start seeing Harry Kane, he's one of our own again. And if 65,000 people can do that, then it will be like the icing on the cake. It is a worry for me that his confidence is super low. I no longer think that he's not trying anymore. For there was a period at the start of the season where I was questioning whether or not he's playing for a move. Yeah. But I don't think that's the case anymore. I think he's genuinely trying. I just think his confidence is shaken, and you know, like I say, he's a human being. He needs the love. But I've been to 5 games at home this season now, and I haven't heard anybody singing Harry Kane's one of our own. You know, and that's it's that exactly, Jack. It's damning, and he'll feel that. He'll be aware of that. So, yeah.
Pressure is on.
Certainly is, but like you say, back to your question, Dave, we haven't got a replacement. Dane Scarlett's 17, he's too young. You know, I know that people have been looking at him in the Conference League, but he hasn't had the full strength team around him to supply. Plus the players that were there that were kind of somewhat first teamers didn't really want to be playing in that conference. You know, there was a lot of negative, and so I don't think you can take anything away from Dane Scarlett. but we haven't got a replacement. And the really scary thing, sorry to ramble, the really scary thing is appreciate it. The really scary thing is, if we're gonna like this, the title of your show is, are we going to finish fourth? Are we in the fourth race, right? And for me, the answer to that is yes, we're in the fourth, but we also are in a race with 8 other people for that same spot. And how that will be determined will be in no small part down to injuries. And Tottenham are a team that's if you compare the strength in depth across those 8 teams, we're somewhere, we're certainly not the top, like Man United's at the top, but we're somewhere else. But in key positions, we really struggle. And Harry Kane for the last 2-3 seasons has always had an injury around Christmas time, right? And so if Harry Kane doesn't do it, if he doesn't get over what's worse, him not getting over his goal scoring or him getting over his goal scoring in the next 2 weeks, his lack of goal scoring, and then getting injured and hurting his ankle again and then being out until March, right? It's a worrying situation.
Yeah, no, it's starting to all right. Cuva99 says, to be fair, David, Brad is rocking a flat cap, so he's one hot little number by default. I'm not surprised he's got your mind all day.
Gotta get him out of your mind, Dave. You gotta let go. You can't keep your mind off of him, Dave. You can't keep your mind off of him.
Oh, stop. I'll try my best. To let him go, so I will. Brad, the things you do to me, man. Brad, the things you do to me. Big old Cuba. Oh, Brad, you're getting me in trouble now. True Tetra Free says, Sean, do you need a golf lesson? I've got a flat cap, or it's a golf flat cap.
I don't need a golf lesson, actually. The truth, I've got an 8 handicap, so I'm all right on the golf stuff, mate. Thank you.
Pretty nifty. We'll be seeing you on the PGA Tour anytime soon, Sean.
No. Yeah, if PGA stands for something other than professional golfer, so maybe it stands for pretty goddamn awful. Maybe something like that.
That's a good tour I'd like to see. That'd probably be a bit more entertaining, probably on TV, actually. See someone 24 over.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, big up truth. Come here, Sean. What's your thoughts on Skip and Højbjerg over the last 2 games? Again, mixed opinions on Højbjerg. What's your thoughts on both of them over the last 2 games?
Skippy's just fantastic. He's phenomenal. How do I say this? It sends joy to my heart to see this young kid step up. He was awesome, obviously, last season. He's given his chance, and he's getting better and better and better by the game. The thing, and Højbjerg, listen, I've got a lot of love for Højbjerg. Like, Højbjerg was our stalwart last season. Right. And I don't think there's been anything necessarily wrong with what he does well this season. I think he's defended well. I think he's done his challenges well. I do think that there has been, until the last couple of games, a question mark over, if you play the two, although both of them together, who's going to take the kind of more offensive role to bring the ball out and to pass. Right. And it looks like in the last 2 games, it's been Skippy who's been bursting forward, which I didn't even knew that he had that in him, right? But he has, clearly. The challenge for me is you have to question, if you're going to question anything, is the passing of both of them. I thought that Skippy in the first 8 games of the season, he was brilliantly defensively, brilliant energy, brilliant tackling back. But I did think his passing lacked a peripheral vision. Like, he passed the ball into a place thinking that it would go to our whoever, to Eric Dyer, to Romero, whatever. But it would he wouldn't have seen like one of the opposing players stepping in to close and it ended up being a bit of hospital pass-ish kind of passing. So I was vocal about my concerns about his ability to sort of see outside of that tunnel pass that he's thinking about. Right. We haven't seen those problems in the last couple of games, and I think Højbjerg also has some issues with his passing. Of the 2 of them, though, I think at the moment we don't have a better option. But I would like to see a Tottenham team that could be trusted to only need one of those 2 players.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, I feel like you watch a lot of football, Sean, maybe can take a look at like Chelsea, right? Where like Jorginho's that one that kind of sits back, kind of, dictates the, the passing and the tempo. And then it's like an N'Golo Kante, it's a Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it's a Kovacic that kind of make those runs forward. I feel like Skippy is almost playing that N'Golo Kante role, getting stuck in, but also dribbling the ball forward, carrying the ball forward. And then Højbjerg, I guess, is, like you said, though, trying his best to be like a Jorginho in that system, but, sometimes kind of fails to hit the mark maybe for it in your eyes.
Completely agree. 100%. I think that, couldn't agree more with what you just said. Like, could have taken the words out of my mouth. The one thing I worry about with Højbjerg, as much as I love him and I think he's a future, he should be a captain at Tottenham, but I wonder, I don't know how old he is, but I wonder whether or not we gave him justified admiration and gratitude for the role that he played before last season, for example. But now, if Skippy is the guy that's just kind of, he's younger and he's got better stamina and the tackling, and again, it's only a small window of games, so look, this can play out over a period of time. But I wonder whether or not Højbjerg, he's been his skill set that was so important has now been surpassed by Skippy, or could be surpassed, and maybe Højbjerg needs to adapt or be considered second best in all of what Højbjerg's great in by Skip. But I look at Højbjerg's energy, his vocal, his the fact that he's not afraid to tell Harry Kane how it is in games. Like, that's a leader. Yeah. And I do think that one of the issues, as much as I absolutely adore Hugo Lloris and definitely think he deserves a new contract, because there's no goalkeepers are not easy to find. And most goalkeepers that are in their peak of their game do not change from one big team to another. So you either have to get a goalkeeper that's late on to move down to you, or you get a goalkeeper that's early to move up to you. But you can't really find a goalkeeper who's 28, who's already, at a top club to transfer. It just doesn't happen. So whilst I love Hugo Lloris, I don't necessarily think that the captain should be the goalkeeper, because he's too far removed from the in-game dynamics, and therefore, like I say, I think if you were to pick any other player on the pitch to take over the armband who could have more influence, it would be Højbjerg at the moment.
Do you feel like, just quickly, take yourself back to last season, I feel like we were all saying like Skippy and Højbjerg would be competing for that same position that you were just describing, being that destroying, being that, hard man midfielder. At the moment, they're playing on the pitch at the same time, which is, I feel like no one could have predicted that, come last season. We kind of thought they would just be coming on for each other. Yeah.
But then you look at, so who do you swap, right? So if you only want one of those two, then there's another position in that midfield bucket. But who's screaming out for it from the replacements? It's certainly not Lo Celso. It's certainly not Ndombele.
Oh, it's not.
It's certainly not Harry Winks.
It's not a Ndombele either.
So I mean, who is maybe Antonio Conte's arm is being forced by the form of the other players, or the energy, the effort, the desire, and like I said, not to change the topic, but Dave, when we had that debate, we were talking about investment from ENIC. 100 million quid was spent on those two players, Lo Celso and Ndombele. Right.
Yeah.
And neither of them give a hoot about stepping up, in my opinion. They're just not. They're not. And so,
and do you know what, Sean? Do you know what, Sean? I agree with you. Like, the thing is, like, look, don't get me wrong. They do spend money, but the money they spend, a lot of times they do try to stretch it to cover various positions, and it's just kind of, and then sometimes you're missing out on players because of 5-10 million here and there, and we went three windows without signing players and stuff like that when we didn't really need to. They could have put their money in, and I guess that's where I'm coming from. I mean,
but it's also Steve Hitchen not knowing what to do with that money, though.
No, that's true. No,
exactly.
I agree.
That's what I think, Jack. I agree.
No, I agree with you. And I've mentioned Steve Hitchen so many times on what he spent it on. I mean, we've gone through the players. Some of them aren't even still here. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he has to be held accountable as well. He has to be. I don't know why he's still around Tottenham. Maybe he's making some good tea. I'm not sure. But for me, like,
who was the director of football when we got the Bale money and we spent it on? We took that 100 bar and we spent it on like. It wasn't Frank Arneson, was it? Frank Arneson was long gone, right?
I'm going to say either Kamoli or Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, okay. So that was the biggest. That was that again. Another absolute shit show when we had 100 million and then we rushed them. We blew it on
Franco Baldini.
Baldini. Oh, nice one, Kubo. Yeah. And that's again. So that's the challenge is, in my opinion, Daniel Levy is the name, or ENIC is the name where mud is thrown. If there's something to complain about with Tottenham fans that's not directly on the pitch, then it's thrown at Daniel Levy and ENIC. And whilst I'm no fan of his, and I'm no particular as a person, I think he's a weird guy. I don't agree that he's a master negotiator. I think he's just someone who's stubborn and sticks his foot in the sand and because it's my way or the highway, which I don't think is the right way to do it. But I do think that the real animosity, the real kind of question marks should not be necessarily on. He's just a finance guy. He doesn't know. He doesn't know his arse from his elbow when it comes to players, right? And so the question mark should be thrown about Baldini or Kamoli or whoever else.
Sean, you're in business as well, and look, you know as much as I do. He's a paid front man so that people aren't talking about ENIC or Tavistock. You know, you know he is. That's what he is. He's paid to take the shit, basically. But look, he hasn't helped himself as well with some of the people he's employed. Look, he's an accountant. He doesn't look beyond the spreadsheets. You know, he is trained that numbers don't lie. You know, go with the numbers and stuff like that. But I mean, we can't deny that there have been times where maybe they could have pushed the boat out a little, and that's where my frustrations come from it, especially over the switch to the stadium. Because I mean, we went 3 transfer windows without signing players when they could have put their hands in their pocket and provided the right sort of investment and the right sort of players for when we move into that stadium. And that's where my frustration comes with them, that we didn't need to go through 3 windows without, especially when you look at other owners who have put money in their pocket, who have put money into the club and aided the club and helped the club in terms of transfers and stuff like that, and getting in the players that the managers want. I mean, like, there's no point in bringing in managers and not giving them money to be able to implement and stamp their style on team, especially with like, you know, with some of the managers we have. I mean, Pochettino wanted backing. They didn't back them, they sacked them. Jose Mourinho wanted backing. Now, okay, they backed him, but not adequately. Not adequately. I mean, they brought in Joe Hart, they brought in Matt Doherty, Jack Clark. There was a couple of others there. I mean, not good enough for the transfer window. Nuno, okay, look, that's with Nuno. Hopefully now with Conte, they have learned their lesson and they will back him in terms of what he needs. Because the thing is, Sean, if you don't give a manager what he needs, or you don't give a manager a certain 1 or 2 players, it's very hard for him to stamp his authority or implement what he's trying to do, because usually most managers will bring in someone of their style or someone that maybe has worked with them before to be able to spread their message throughout the dressing room.
But is the manager going to... So 2 questions to that, Dave. Is the manager going to be... You know, is Conte going to be deciding who Tottenham buy in January, or is Paratici? And if Conte's doing it, then why do we need Paratici? And if Paratici's doing it, then it doesn't matter who the manager is, right? It's Paratici's gig. That's his role. And the second question is, what chairman in the Premier League do you look at within the last 3 or 4 years who has spent money that they didn't have that has turned out to be a success?
Liverpool owners. They backed Klopp and won the Champions League and the Premier League.
But Liverpool work within their means as well. Liverpool work within the same means that Tottenham do. Man City and Arsenal, Man City and Chelsea don't.
No, they don't. Liverpool's owners have put in 200 and odd million out of their own pockets. Our business model, like, our owners have not put in a cent.
But Liverpool haven't built a new stadium.
No, that wasn't the question though, Sean. You asked me what owners. You can't change the goalposts.
I'm not moving the goalposts. Let's keep the goalposts where they are.
You asked me what owners have put in money out their own pockets in return for their investment, and I would say Liverpool. The reason why I'm not picking City and Chelsea, because I'm not asking them to go and throw 700-800 million. I mean, that's just that. I wouldn't ask anyone to do that. But in terms of owners that have put money into a club and seen the return on the investment, I would say Liverpool owners. And let me tell you why. Because like Pochettino, Klopp was close to a league and close to a Champions League. They ended up backing him and getting in the keeper that he so desperately needed and stuff like that. And they went, but what Liverpool have done is they have actually improved their stadium. They've built on a bigger stand and everything else at that stadium as well. But they backed them and they went and won a Premier League and a Champions League. And we were at that same phase with Pochettino. We got to a Champions League final. Okay, what do? Do you back him and bring in a couple of players and go again like Liverpool done with Klopp, or do you sack him? And we chose to sack him.
Yeah, but the worst thing that could have happened to Tottenham in its progression was to get to the Champions League final. Absolute worst thing that could happen. And I'll tell you why. Right? Liverpool were on a progressive improvement march, right? And they brought in, and they were, like I said, I know I'll take Liverpool as your answer, even though I actually disagree. I somewhat disagree with the premise that they've gone without their above and beyond their means. And
Sean, it's stats, it's factual.
Yeah, it's factual, but it's not. It's also there's always context you can take, Dave, and that's what I'm going to do on the channel that I'm not going to promote because it's not ready yet. But on my channel, when it gets going, it's all going to be. It's not going to be about your amazing content. I'm not going to compete with you guys. You're fantastic. I'm going to take my. I'm going to focus on the finances of football, and I'm going to rip apart the rule book and give everyone a different kind of perspective on how finances in football work, because it's the only thing I'm kind of knowledgeable on, right? Or at least knowledgeable on finances, and hopefully I can take it to football. Anyway, long story short, I do think that for every Liverpool that you find, you've got one example with a great Liverpool team, but there's across the Mersey, you've got Everton who are doing what you would have us do and are struggling. I know they won tonight, but they've won tonight and they're now 12th in the league, right? So and they spent
do you not think that's down to their board's mismanagement?
Yeah, but that's the same as Liverpool, right? You could say the same thing. Like Liverpool spent the money that you in your eyes they went above and beyond to spend, and they happened to pick the best coach in world football, who became the best coach in world football at the moment. They happened to buy Mane, who became a superstar. They happened to sell Suarez at the right time. They happened to do all these amazing things that just created this cocktail of amazing output. But for every situation like that, there's a Leeds United, there's an Everton, there's another example of people that go, let's throw money. And Tottenham are perfect.
Not everyone can handle the money smartly, is I guess what you're saying.
Yeah, and you buy. We thought Ndombele was going to be a superstar, a game changer. 65 million spent, and all we've got is a lazy, overweight, entitled, idiot, right? And you've got Lo Celso, who thinks he'd rather be on a plane to Paris, as the last guy was saying, and who'd rather be playing for Argentina than playing for Tottenham.
To Buenos Aires,
Yeah, exactly, right.
Do you know what the difference between Liverpool and Tottenham are? Liverpool went and done their homework on Mane. They knew he was a good human being. The way he lived off the field, how religious he was, how much he cared about people. We didn't.
But the Liverpool owners aren't doing that. But the person who's gone and pulled 200 million out of his American pocket is not doing that homework. There's an employee at Liverpool that's doing that we don't have. So, like I said to you on the last chat, it's not an investment. It's not a lack of investment. It's a poor investment.
Sean, he brought in someone that he trusts, that knows will run it properly. That's the thing. He got to that point. So therefore, he knows with this guy in charge, someone he believes in, someone that he knows can do the job, whoever he brings in, he's going to back him with the cash to do it because he knows it's going to be the right appointment.
Right.
So that's why
Daniel Levy tried to do the same thing, right? It just hasn't worked out yet.
So what? We have to suffer because of Daniel Levy's mismanagement.
To a degree, until you can find someone who's willing to pay $2 billion to buy, or £2 billion to pay for the Tottenham club, which, like I've said before, the Tottenham Hotspur valuation, and again, this is something that I will try to rip apart on the channel that I'm going to be focusing on. To value a football club, it's not about here's the statistic, right? How much do you think Tottenham's female football club, the football team in the WSL, what slice of the pie do you think that is as a contributing factor is currently and will be in the next 5 years?
I mean, it's not
Say
really
that
given
again?
very much money at the moment, and it's not really making a lot of money, but it also should be. There are bigger clubs like Liverpool, though, that don't give any money to their women's team, and their women's team is in the second league at the
Yeah.
Women's Super League at the moment, which is shameful when you think about it. It's like absolutely shameful, the club of that size, to have done that.
If
When
I was to
most
say,
clubs only give about what 2-3% of any sort of revenue made at all, towards the women's side. So probably it's going to be worth more in future, but it is pretty
distribution,
shameful for a club like Liverpool to not have given any money to
right,
their women's team.
right, okay, but distribution to the team versus potential revenue from it, right? I'll give you a statistic. The Tottenham's female team have only been in the women's WSL for 3 seasons, right? But in 2019, when Tottenham were first in, when we had our new stadium, this is in their first season. Tottenham Arsenal female WSL game had a 39,000 attendance.
Okay.
If that had happened 2 years earlier, that would be the highest Tottenham home attendance ever recorded since White Hart Lane was rebuilt as an all-seater stadium. Yet the Women's Super League, Tottenham's female wage bill contributes it's 0.5% to what Tottenham's men's team is. Yeah. Right, and I know this. I know the cost of the tickets to go and see the female team is not what it is to see the men's team, but the aim there, right? And if you can see the trajectory, like that is something that, to your point, you want, Dave. You're saying we should trust. Like if Liverpool's chairman is so fantastic and they're willing to spend money, Daniel Levy is seeing future.
This is the thing. I'm not saying the Liverpool chairman is fantastic. I answered your question. You said, name me an owner that put in money and has got the return on investment. And I named you the owner, the Liverpool owner. I never said he was fantastic. I answered your question.
But there's so you did answer my question. You absolutely did answer my question, and I'm not criticizing you for answering it. I'm just saying that Daniel Levy's methodology is slightly different, right? And he has a different vision that will have a different source of income. And I think if you look at the things like the WSL, I know it doesn't matter to us now because we don't give a shit about that. We care about whether Harry Kane's going to score on Saturday. But ultimately, the chairman doesn't deserve the shit show that every angry Tottenham fan throws his way. And I want to dispel that rumor because not that I'm a fan of his, but I'm a fan of the strategy and the investment that he puts in.
Sean, he created the shit show. It's
not a shit show. It's not a shit show, mate. We're doing fine.
You said it wasn't a second ago. You said it wasn't a second ago. But he created it. He created it. He won't put his losses on players that are not good enough. He's the one that has employed the people to bring these players in. Everything points back to him ultimately. So why shouldn't he get us out of the shit show?
But we're not. Sorry. When I say that we're in a shit show, I mean the shit show that other people think we're in. I don't think we're in a shit show. I think we're doing just fine. I think
Sean, we've gone from challenging for the Premier League, a Champions League final, getting to finals of League Cups, semi-finals of FA Cups, competing on every. Sitting here talking about a Europa League conference game on Thursday. We were talking about starting right back last year.
Hold up, Dave. Right,
they created this shit show. It is a shit show.
No, hang on. We went from a nobody team. We went from an also ran every single season, and then under Pochettino, like I said, I didn't get back to making my point because I was going off on tangents. It's my fault. That's my verbosity for you. But I think that the worst thing that could have happened was getting to the Champions League final because we were a team that didn't deserve to be a Champions League finalist. With all due respect, I know that people are going to hate me for calling us out as what we were, but we're not a team that could consistently do that. And when you have players who suddenly get to the promised land and they're knocking on the door, and then the door's locked. We don't quite make it because of, it might have been the handball in the first minute that ruined the game, but ultimately we didn't deserve to be there. And then all of a sudden, all those players go, I was almost a Champions League winner. And most of those players will never get to that spot ever again in their career. then
I agree with you.
What do you do next? And it was the same when you said we almost won the Premier League. We never almost won the Premier League. We ran a Leicester City, close one season when every other team was way below par. Like we weren't really there. And Leicester weren't really there. It was an anomaly. It wasn't.
Hang on, Sean. You're in a title race. Come 30 games. If there's 8 games left and you automatically win it, it's been the same since the Premier League started, and it'll be the same till it's finished. If you're in it and coming up to 30 games, you're in a title race. Whatever happens from 30 games onwards, if you bottle it, that's on you. But you are in a title race. Let's not mix this up. You're in a title race.
Dave, God forbid we won that.
I'm not asking to get to the Champions League final. I'm asking to get to the Champions League final every single year. I mean, we've been in the Champions League for the thing is, I was on board with the project, but I'm off board with Levy's project now because it doesn't work. I mean, we were in the Champions League, we were competing on the league, we were competing on all cups, we were competing on all in all areas, in all cups, we were competing. Now we're nowhere near it. We are nowhere near it, and that comes down to the top. Nobody else. They're the ones that haven't overseen where their money's gone to, whether it's gone to the right places. They will not cut the losses in terms of players they brought in. They keep them around here, expecting us to turn up to the stadium or pay for our subscriptions and keep watching this crap. What they need to do is cut their losses, like most other big clubs do around the world. Cut your losses and get the next guy in. They do not want to do that. And they're doing that at our expense, at the fans' expense, not at theirs, at ours. And the reason why
it's not our expense. It is our expense, Dave.
How is it not?
You pay to go and watch a game of football, mate. Like, how many people that say Tottenham haven't won a trophy in 10 years? How many teams have won a trophy in the last 10 years? How many teams have won a trophy?
Leicester's come from Division 2 up to win.
Okay, they're the exception. They're the exception, right? They won a Premier League.
You just asked me to name a club. I just named you one. You can't.
No, I didn't ask you to name a club. I said how many teams.
Yeah, but when I answer, you can't say, "Oh, that's an exception." You can't ask the question like you want to.
No, I'm asking you. There's 200 football teams. There's 200 football teams in the somewhat English pyramid league, right? Yeah. In the pyramid. There's 1,000 other football teams on semi. How many teams? Manchester City, like the one cup that we think is imminently winnable every season, the Carling Cup, the Carabao Cup. Man City have won it the last 6 years on the bounce. Right? Yeah. How many teams? When was the last time Everton won a cup? I know Arsenal won one recently.
Hang on. So what? You mean just roll over and not have any aspirations?
No, I'm not saying don't have any aspirations. I'm just saying no, it's not what I'm trying to give. Well,
you're saying how many teams have won trophies? I mean, well, okay. What do you want us to do? Just roll over and not have any expectations?
No, have expectations, but have.
You don't want us to dream at the start of every season. Every fan, every fan, has a dream of winning the league. Every single fan, and that's why they support the club. After that, after it goes away, people will keep paying for tickets and things to support the club. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what they want is a successful Tottenham. And it is at our expense because we're the ones that have to keep paying to watch that crap. And
it's not crap.
No, it is. It has been crap. It's been absolutely woeful the last 2 years. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's been absolutely woeful. The football has been crap. And the thing is, it is at our expense. I mean, because they know that us fans, regardless, are going to keep paying to watch our team. Because for us, it's a way of life. It's a football club that we love. And they know you will never, ever change a football club.
And it's the most expensive ticket.
For them, it's a business.
You're not entitled to win anything. If you did win, listen, of all the teams that win things regularly, Manchester United have got $1 trillion fucking brand, right? Hang on a second, Dave. And Man United got $1 trillion brand, and they spend what they can afford. We can't afford to live on their level. Man City have got owners with pockets deeper than, you could dig away to China and you wouldn't get to the bottom of their pocket.
Why is our season ticket more expensive than Man City's or anyone else across Europe?
Because, I mean, it's like saying, why is the sky blue?
No, Sean. Sean, you can't do that, man. You just said something. You just said we have no or no demand and stuff like this.
Okay, so you would lower your expectations. You would lower your expectations if Tottenham were to reduce their share, the price of their season ticket, so that it was just lower than Chelsea's, it was just lower than Arsenal's, but it was still above West Ham's. Then you would go, all right, now I'm comfortable with our position. Is it really the cost? Is it the cost of the ticket that really offends you, or is it the fact that we're not winning when there's only 3 or 4 teams that ever win anything anyway?
First of all, what I will say, there's many people out there that are Spurs fans that cannot afford it. Yes, in a way, it does offend me in a way. And the fact that people, not me because I don't have a season ticket, but people that pay for a season ticket, right? Let's be honest. Why are they paying? So you said Man City get trophies, everything else. Their owners pump so much money in so their fans can win trophies. Same as the Chelsea owners. Well, then if we don't want to operate like that as a business model, then why as a business model do they charge us more than everybody else? That's not good business model, then, is it? It's not fair. You can't say, well, we're not that business model from one team, and then sit there and defend the cost of the season ticket when also that's a bad model. You can't say.
Okay. So here's a justification. Here's a justification for you, okay? And this gets into financial, like understanding finances. But the Tottenham Stadium cost over $1 billion, right? When you're doing, who wanted the stadium?
Did those fans ask for
the 120,000 people that were on the season ticket waiting list in a 36,000-seater stadium wanted a bigger stadium so they could get a chance to pay the season ticket prices that you find that are extraordinarily high, so they could get a chance to watch their Tottenham team every week. And you know what? Hang on a second, Dave. Hang on. Let me ask a question. Let me get a point across. Right now, they have a 67,000 seater stadium. They still have an 85,000 seat waiting list. So when you say the tickets are too high, they're a business. They're trying to figure out how can I afford to pay that player that you want so badly that Tottenham don't have, that Man United can afford, that everyone else can afford. This is how you do it.
When it comes to the stadium, you said that us fans aren't the ones paying for it. But now when it comes to the price of the season tickets and the business model, now you're saying we're the ones paying for it. So
wait, what? No, wait. Say that again. What did I say?
You were saying that the fans aren't the one paying for the stadium and stuff like that. But when it comes to the price of the season ticket, you justify it because of the stadium.
No, of course they're paying. Of course we're paying for the stadium. Of course we are. How else do you slice? How else do you butter your bread?
You said earlier on we weren't. They were.
No, I didn't. No. Who did I say was paying for the stadium before?
You said it all comes from them. You said it all comes from them, from their owners. They're entitled to do what they want with their money. We have no say in it. But now you're saying
they're running a business, mate. Let me ask this: what phone do you have, Dave? What phone do you have? An Apple? Do you have an iPhone?
I'll rephrase this. No, I don't have an iPhone. I hate Apple. What I will say to you is so let me rephrase this. So when it comes to spending money, what business do you know that when their product is shit, charge an extraordinary price to come to buy their product? That's not good business. They get away with it because they know fans are loyal and they'll get there, and they will go no matter what. And people will work extra days just for the ticket.
And that's fine, mate. That's how business works, Dave.
We're talking about business, so we're talking about business model. Yeah. So, what business puts out a shit product and charges high prices for it when they know it's a crap product? Say for instance, say Apple or Man City, they invest in their products, they'll spend whatever it takes to get the very best, and they charge high prices for it.
But Apple is not Man City, Dave. Hang on, Dave. Wait. No, hang on. Let me, because I wanted to use Apple as the example. Apple have a cult following, akin to what you believe that Tottenham fans have. Apple take advantage of their fan base. Every year, they bring out a new phone that looks the same as last year's phone, and it has another fucking camera, another fucking thing that nobody needs, and they charge another $1,500 or another £1,000 for that, and everyone pays it. Yes, please. Please let me stay in charge. Let me stay on top of this Apple cult because I need to be in it, right? It's no different, mate. The same with Tesla, the same with Amazon. Every successful business has a product or a service or an offering that keeps people coming back. And
Yeah,
you
but
might
the
think
original
that a football club is different.
Sean, let me
It's
finish
not.
making my point. Let me finish making my point.
Okay.
So Apple, right? They say a lot of people say Apple are better than Android. Okay. Margin higher than Apple for their products because they know it's not as good. Then why should we be paying for the highest cost across season tickets if they know the product they aren't delivering is good? Why are we paying more?
So your argument is whoever wins the league, whoever wins the Premier League, they should be entitled to pay the most.
No, I'll stop you there. That's not my argument.
So what's your argument?
I just said my argument. I just clearly I just said
I love you.
Why should we pay more for a season ticket than Man City and Chelsea? Why?
So that we can compete with them.
No, because we're not competing with them. Because the owners will not put in any money. We can't compete with them. City and Chelsea owners are putting in astronomical amounts of money. We will
It's a different game. Roman Abramovich is. No, I'm not changing the argument. I'm not changing. I'm not. Listen, I'm not changing the argument. Okay, Dave, I'm not changing the argument. Chelsea is owned by an oligarch that has like 25 billion. He uses Chelsea as a money laundering system.
Let me tell you why I think you're changing the argument. Because you just said we're charging the ticket prices. How do you expect us to compete with them when we're not going to help put in the money along with what already we're generating to be able to compete with them?
Look, I asked you this before, right? How much money? You know what? Because listen, we can go back and forth. I don't agree with you that a football club is any different to any other business. Just because you have a loyal fan base, right? That will. It's not any different. It's no different to any other.
God.
So yeah, so this is the thing. This is where we differ. Okay, you think then that that the owner of a football club should run it at a loss in order to appease the desires and the demands of a fan base who will always want more, and there's only so much silverware that's available to be won, and yet only a handful of clubs win it. And if Tottenham, here's the question I asked you before. Here's the question I'll ask you again: How much money should Daniel Levy give to Conte that will keep you happy? And how much money is not enough for you to stop with this rhetoric that Daniel Levy does not invest his own money in the club?
First of all,
how much money?
It's not rhetoric because it's stats and it's factual. They haven't invested a penny.
They don't invest their own money. But guys, 2 more minutes or 3 more minutes, please. 2 more minutes.
Hang on, Sean. It's fact.
I'm not saying anything. Or Dave, I'm the one saying 2 minutes or 3 more minutes, please, because we do have more guests to get to. There are a lot of people that I think are getting, a bit kind of tired of this. So maybe you guys can settle this on your own at some stage. But yeah, 2 minutes or 3 more minutes, please.
Sorry, guys.
Say what you're saying, Dave.
No, look, it's facts. They haven't put any money in. There was stuff released last week. It's facts. You can run away from them all you want. It's factual. They haven't invested zilch into the club. Now, what I would say is, like I said, a football club, whether you like to believe it or not, Sean, it's a different sort of business to go in and open up your own shop. It's completely different. First of all, it was a football club before business ever came into it. When you buy a football club, you don't hear Abramovich saying what you just said there. Well, why should I? He understands it. He understands that as a football club, you have loyal followers. They want to see a good product on the pitch. So he will put the money in to also give them that. He understands it. As a football club, it's a complete different business. Completely different. So it should be operated differently. There has to be a bit of give and take. If they want to charge extortionate fees, well, then they have to provide the players and good performances on the pitch. It's fair. That's fair in my eyes. If you're going to ask the fans to pay the most expensive season ticket, I also believe it's the most expensive football jersey to buy as well, and a lot of money. Yeah. So if they're going to charge us all that,
why is your anger not for every season ticket someone buys, £5 of that goes to paying the salary of Ndombele, right? Or it goes to paying the salary of Lo Celso. It goes to paying the salary of Davinson Sanchez. Rather than going, this guy isn't doing enough for us, he's throwing money at it. The players that have been bought, back to Jack's point, I think I agree. I don't think it's lack of investment. And
Sean,
you just say that it needs to be.
What money did he throw at? How much?
Mate, well, this is where you and I are never going to agree.
Hang on. Answer my question. You said he threw money at it. I want to know how much you think he put in it.
£150 million was spent on those 3 players. It didn't come from someone else's yacht sale. It came from the profits of the business. But that's how businesses work, mate.
Right. So my next question, follow-up.
That's how businesses work.
No. Follow-up question. Follow-up question, Sean. If that was his own money, would he have done more homework into the players he was?
If it was his own money, what? Sorry.
If it was his own money, would he have done a lot more homework into the players that he was signing? If it was his money, do you think we'd still see Ndombele and Lasasso at the club? Because I can tell you now, we wouldn't.
Oh, man, that's a massive stretch, mate. He's an accountant. He's not a football scout.
No,
he doesn't know his Lo Celso from his arsehole. Like,
answer my question. Answer my question directly. If it was his money, would he take better care on spent?
I think it's a redundant question, Dave. He's not a football scout, mate. He doesn't know whether Lo Celso is going to turn it up. And you know what? Like Lo Celso turns it on every time for Argentina. Why doesn't he do it for Tottenham? That's not Daniel Levy's fault. It's not Daniel Levy's fault that Ndombele's a lazy guy.
Sean, you didn't want to answer the question. So
I can't answer it. How do I know? Whether? Sorry, Jack.
I've kept the timer.
I'll let you guys go.
I just want to finish. I just want to finish here. You didn't answer my question because what I would say to you is money, a better person employed, and they will put more homework into Ndombele and Lasasso. All business people operate like that. When it's their own money, they're more diligent with it than when it's not their money. It's a fact of life, and it's a way of life.
Who puts their own money? When you make that statement, who puts their own money into a business, mate? It doesn't, like, you put your seed money in. It just doesn't work that way after a business is just...
Who puts money into their own business? How do you think they get started?
Yeah, at the start, but after like a year, a business needs to survive on its own merits. Like you're looking at Abramovich. It's for Abramovich, it's a toy. It's a money laundering operation. You're looking at the same for Man City and the same for Newcastle. They're not. You can't cast that broad brush, mate. It's not the same. Liverpool is a fair example, but Liverpool don't take a different option.
Hang on, but it's okay when you want to compare us to them. So we're not allowed to when it's the other side of the argument, but when you want to, we're not allowed to.
I'm not comparing. I'm saying those 3 teams are entirely different, right? The only football club that is a fair comparison is Liverpool, but they've made different choices with their investments. They haven't reinvested in a new football club, in a new stadium. Everton haven't. They put all their money in players. We've gone a different path with the money. It's not the same.
First of all, Everton.
Dave, I'm going to have to interrupt it. Dave, I'm going to have to interrupt it, Dave. I've kept the timer for it.
Second of all, Liverpool have improved their stadium as well, just to let you know.
Okay.
I love you, Dave. I love you, Jack. I'm gonna walk away.
I've enjoyed it, and I would say I think this should have been saved for maybe a different sort of debate, maybe on its own sort of channel. So maybe we'll hit you up for it, Sean. Actually keep the debate for an actual show. Keep the debate for an actual show. Just maybe not a fan show where we do have other guests in line. We do want to respect that. No, it's John. It's not your fault. Believe me. We do want to respect their time. We do want to respect their time. And Sean, honestly, well done, my man, though. Absolutely well done, brother. You honestly held your own there, brother. You held your own.
Just before I jump off, right?
Generous contribution as well, brother. Thank you very much.
You guys are worth every penny. I absolutely adore what you do. And I'm so sorry. Last thing, if anyone is interested in the financial side, I have got a YouTube channel. It's just Spurs Talk, not Spurs Talk Show. But Spurs Talk Show is the Twitter channel. There's very little content on it right now. But I am going to be doing the football analysis on the financial side. So if you want to dig into this conversation more, that's where you can find me. Guys, I'm so sorry to ramble on, Dave. I love you, Jack. You're amazing.
Sean, do not.
No, you poked the bee's hive. You poked the bears. You poked the bear's cave there. You got David into it. It's not your fault, Sean. You got your minutes worth.
Do you know what it is? With Sean, I could shake the living shit out of him at times, but I do like him. That's the way it is. I could kill him at times, but we love each other. Same as him. He could kill me at times, but at the end of the day, we love each other, and that's what it's about, Sean. So look, big yourself up, my man. I'll see you again very soon.
Keep doing what you do, guys. Love you guys. Speak to you soon.
We'll have you on for maybe one of these very soon, Sean.
Yeah,
Honestly, that was fantastic. Good crack as well. But Sean, really appreciate you, brother. We'll catch you very, very soon, my man. We'll keep in touch.
Thanks, guys. Take care.